So this is the challenge that I wanted to solve today. Oh, now the colors have gone all weird again. We'll have to do it anyway. So this is the one I wanted to solve or show you walkthrough of today, but Matthias wouldn't let me because apparently this is a challenge from this year's DEF CON, and apparently everybody hasn't had an opportunity to solve it yet. So I'm going to do last year's instead, which looked like this. And that picture is like unreadable, but fortunately for us, the challenge creators posted a better image on Twitter. So this is what it looked like. And as a good chef, I've prepared earlier a transcription so that we don't have to waste time on that. So I'm going to. You guys see that, or do we need to make it bigger, perhaps? Let's see if we can make it a bit. Oops, too big. There we go. So the first thing I did was just try to print this out in a little bit bigger. And actually, I'm going to do this instead. So, oops. Yeah, so print this out, something like this. 2 characters at a time, just to have a look at what it would look like. So something like this would probably do it. So let's have a look at what that looks like. Okay, so since it's supposed to be a message, and we can see that it's 0 through 9, we probably have to use more than 1 digit per symbol, right? But this doesn't really look like anything that's, there are lots of repeats, and yeah, it doesn't look very, very promising. So let's try 3 characters instead. +2. And let's see, the repeats were probably me being stupid, so let's do that. Okay, so now I'm just printing out the digits 3 at a time. And this looks more promising. We can definitely see some patterns here. We can see a recurring number, 32. We can see this, all of these digits, up until a point anyway, all seem to be within this interval of like 30 to 120, which is printable ASCII characters, right? So we can pretty much guess this is going to be like 71 is going to be a character, for example. So we can try printing out the character. So no, let's see. I'm going to cut and paste this. And change, just concatenating those 3 digits and turning them into an integer. And then let's convert that into a character. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that looks pretty good. As you can see, this string that we're getting here, well, first of all, we could see that we have some digits here that don't really match up. And if we look at the picture, we can see that those digits are the ones here in blue. So that pretty much tells us, oh, by the way, the red ones here, you can actually just read off. It says, welcome to the challenge, blah, 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 blah. But the blue ones probably don't have anything to do with the yellow message, so I'm going to split that out. So I'm just going to take the just the yellow digits. Just put that in there instead. Let's see if that solves our problem. Yep, now we can see the whole message. So I'm going to, instead of printing this, I'm going to create a string, call it D for decoded, and then print the string at the end, right? Oops. Did I do something wrong there? Oh, me stupid. Me stupid. There we go. Okay, so this doesn't look like English, but it does suspiciously look like rotated English, right? So I'm going to guess that this is probably our old friend rot13, which is commonly used to obfuscate text, right? Ah, this is a red herring, but you're probably going to figure this out. Okay, which means we're on the right track. So let's do the same trick, but let's take, instead of the yellow characters, let's take the blue characters. And once you do this, you kind of figure out that the light blue and the dark blue characters are two separate messages. So I'm not going to show how you figure that out, but that's what you get. Okay, let's see what I'm doing here. I'm doing something wrong. There we go. So what does the blue message says? Brought to you by Caesar, Almus, and Seric. So those are challenge creators. Nice. And let's see the dark blue characters. If we take them, use the same trick. We'll see, this is interesting. This is, again, not English, but we can cut and paste this into a file. Let's call it test. And as you can see from this part over here, it looks like a URL, right? It's formatted like that. So we can pretty much guess, since these two Ds here repeat, this is going to be like a simple substitution cipher where the HTTP has been turned into QDDL. So just start decoding this manually. HTTP. And let's see, do we have a D anywhere? Yeah, so that's also going to be a T. Do we have an L somewhere? No, not really. Do we have a Q? Oh, we have a Q over here, so that's going to be an H. We have a D, that's going to be a T. Yeah, but it doesn't give us much of the message, right? So we have to start guessing a bit. So since this is a URL, you can probably guess that this is going to be a TLD, which is a common TLD. Like a .net, maybe .com is the most common one, so let's just guess for .com. And if we can say that K becomes C, then actually this becomes CC, which would make sense more than net, this becoming a URL that starts with NN dot something, because the challenge was called the Ceazars challenge, so CC would probably be, a reasonable guess there. So we'll guess for com, which means we have three new characters we can start decoding. So let's say, do we have a K, a G, or an A? We have a G over here. That's going to be an O. We have the Q here I've forgotten earlier. We have an... do we have an A? No? Am I missing something here? There's a T at the beginning? Yep, that's right. Yes. Okay, so we have to start guessing some more. So look at the message. It starts with DQEX and then EX. So we can pretty much guess that this one-letter word is probably going to be an A. That's the most common one-letter word in English. This is probably going to be like is, yeah, exactly. Front row has got it already. So which means this is, right? So this looks very similar to the previous message that this is a red herring, was the first message we got from the yellow text. So maybe we can make a guess that this is not a red herring, right? And it kind of looks, we've got repeating R's here. The B becomes an E. So this is our guess. And it looks to be a pretty good guess because it ties in with the yellow message. And it also gives us most of the characters we need to solve the URL. So we just have a look at this. The F becomes a G. The G becomes an O. The O becomes an N. The B we're not sure about, or are we? It's an E, yeah. So we still have some letters here that we're unsure of. Yeah, so I, J is over here as well, and U. I, J, and U, we don't really know what what they're supposed to be in the decoded message. But since this is a URL, I mean, we can look up possible candidates in DNS and see if we find something, right? So let's take this thing here and for A in, and I'm just going to cut and paste to make this a bit easier. So these are the letters that we haven't solved for already. So we don't have to try A, B, we don't have to try the whole alphabet. We just have to look up the characters that we haven't found yet. So let's do this. Do for B in, and do for C in. There we go. And I'm just going to do an echo first. I usually do that to test. And host. And oh, now we had the test file over there. So this was our decoded stuff, and then we have to put some guesses in there. So we had one guess was over here. Let's see if I can remember where stuff is on my keyboard. C, and this was B, and then we had two, so we had A and then C again, right? Because we had the repeating J. So I, J, U, J. So I, J, oh, I typed J, stupid me. I, J, U, yeah. And this will take a couple of minutes that we don't actually have. So I'm gonna, since it says ten no og, I'm going to guess that the C is probably going to be a Y, so something like technology was my guess there. So I'm going to put Y first in the alphabet there. Let's see, done, and we forgot one do over here, right? I'm just going to go for it. And this is going to give us a lot of output, so I'm going to filter out with grep the ones that don't resolve, the domains that don't resolve. So that's running. Let's make sure I actually have internet here as well. That might have been a good idea to test first. No, we actually don't have. Okay. Excuse me. To switch over here and try to find my Wi-Fi. There we go. So let's do that again now that we probably have, now we have internet. Okay, so now it's running and it's trying all the different combinations to fit these last few letters in. Hopefully it's going to work. Yeah, there we go. Bytenology. And then we can have a look. Go over here, cc.bytenology.com. And we can see two more cryptograms here. And I only have like a minute for this, so it's going to have to be really, really quick. So we have true cryptograms over here. And this one is actually quite simple. You can see that these are all like common letters in the English language, but they're put in some kind of weird order, right? We have got all the I's together and the E's together here and stuff like that. But we saw the challenge hint was a 5-pointed star. So if we put these into 5 groups of 5, we can start to see, already the username is Legion something. So that's just a simple columnar transposition cipher. And the other one that we don't have time for, I actually didn't solve because it was quite tricky. But the challenge organizers tweeted out a hint that it was supposed to. It was a common phrase, and it was supposed to start with all. And then I could pretty much figure out from the theme that it was supposed to start with all roads lead to Rome, right? Because we had this Legionnaire theme in the username, and so I kind of solved it without actually knowing what the crypto mechanism was. So that was the end of that challenge, basically. If you want to see proof that it's the end of the challenge, we can go here. It says to put the username as And then all roads lead to Rome without the X's. X's we're just padding. And then we get, congratulations, you found your way. The party is tonight, blah, 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 blah. So that was all I wanted to show you